Home opener is in the books. Big win for the Brewers yesterday, a 5-1 victory against the rival Cardinals. We recap it next on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Friday, everybody. I am Dominic Cotroneo. After all the festivities of 414 Day yesterday, it is great to have you with us today as the Brewers awake today, victorious, a 5-1 victory over the Cardinals yesterday in the first game of the season at American Family Field. So a whole lot of fun yesterday. We're going to get into all of the action that happened in yesterday's game with the game recap, tell you about the offense getting going. Omar Narvaez went yard yesterday as well. Brandon Woodruff on the pitching side pitched a great game, 5 innings of shutout ball against the Cardinals, and we're looking ahead to today's game as well. Back to a night game, a 7-10 first pitch tonight between the Cardinals and the Brewers. Want to thank you for making us your first listen of the day. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Drop a rating for us if you're so inclined. It does help out a lot more than you think. And drop a review if you're on Apple Podcasts as well. And subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're at it, at Locked On Brewers. That's also our Twitter handle as well. If you don't already know, my name is Dominic Cotroneo. I am the statistician for Bally Sports Wisconsin, also a play-by-play broadcaster myself, normally joined by Vinny Routino. He's going to take this episode off as he had a lot to do on opening day as far as appearances and radio hits and everything like that, so he's going to take the day off. He'll be back next week with some more of our recaps as we continue this homestand, the opening home weekend homestand, as the Brewers now improve to a 4-3 record, as now the Cardinals move to 3-2. They've had 2 rainouts already, so that's why their schedule looks so different. Let's get into the game recap now, shall we? So yesterday, Adam Wainwright, the starter for the Cardinals, Brandon Woodruff, the starter for the Brewers. No problem in the first 2 innings really for Brandon Woodruff. He really got off to a great start. 2 innings in, didn't allow a run. And Colton Wong, facing his former team in the bottom of the first inning, leading off the game, and on the second pitch he sees from his former teammate, rips a triple down the right field line, leading things off all the way with a 3-bagger all ready to start things off. But then you got worried for a second. Oh man, are they going to do this again where they get a man in scoring position with nobody out and not be able to punch him home? Willie Adames did not have a great day yesterday. He went 0 for 4. He popped out there as the first out of the first inning. Christian Yelich struck out looking on a borderline pitch on a 1-2. Good sinker there from Adam Wainwright. Then it was up to Andrew McCutchen, who shockingly did not swing at the first pitch. In fact, he worked it to a 2-0 count and then just hit a clean single right up the middle to score the first run of the game for the Brewers. And then they added 1 run in each of the next 2 innings at least. So McCutchen with the big base hit up the middle and RBI to make it 1-0. Then we move to the bottom of the second inning, and Omar Narvaez, his first homer of the season, drills it to right field into the St. Louis bullpen on a 1-0 pitch, 103 miles an hour off the bat. So back-to-back plate appearances for him have resulted in hits, and he gets his first home run of the season. So Brewers up by a 2-0 score. Now we go to the top of the third inning, and this is where things got dicey, and we can dive into this third inning right now. Leadoff single by Harrison Bader, then a bloop single by Yadier Molina. It puts runners on first and second. Then with a 9-hole hitter up, as the Cardinals do, they go ahead and go with the sacrifice bunt. Tobby Edman drops down the bunt perfectly. Runners move to second and third with 1 out and the top of the order. And then a funky play happens. This second time through the order, and I want to start, before we talk about this with the offense for the Cardinals, tell you about the fact that they currently lead baseball in chase rate, meaning they do not chase the ball out of the zone as an offense. You may be alarmed by the fact, oh wow, Woodruff only got a couple of strikeouts, only 5 strikeouts total for the pitching staff. What's going on? No, it's the Cardinals are the best in baseball at this point of the season at not chasing pitches. And we saw this come in the second time around of the order. So a lot more patience, a lot more foul balls started to pop up against Brandon Woodruff as well. It was a 2-2 count against Dylan Carlson with runners on second and third and 1 out. Then he proceeds to foul off 4 consecutive pitches, just staying alive, not chasing, just staying alive. And then the wildest thing happened on the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Just hits a little comebacker, but to the blind eye, you thought it might have hit him in the hand. But no, it actually hit the knob of his bat, hit a little three-hopper back toward the mound, just to the right of the mound, and Woodruff had the presence of, hey, that's a fair ball. Went, fielded it, threw the runner out at first, and it was so softly hit the runners couldn't advance from second and third. Just a one-in-a-million type pitch that it came up and in on Carlson batting left-handed. And looking at the replay from Bally Sports Wisconsin, it was perfectly on the bottom of the knob. It is a perfect, good call by the umpires. That is a fair ball. Ball is in play. It hit his bat, so they get a gift for the second out. And then, this is when the crowd really started to make a difference, as the next batter was the dangerous Paul Goldschmidt. We all know about his history, as good of a hitter as he is overall, and even better at American Family Field for some reason. So he also works it to a 2-strike count. It's 1-2 on him with 2 outs. He fouls off a pitch. Then he works it to a full count, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Those 2 pitches were strikes, not only on K-zone, not only on, just looking at it visually. I think Paul Goldschmidt even thought they were strikes. When you look at his reaction in the box, he kind of sat there for a second, not like a begging, like, all right, I knew that was a ball. There wasn't confidence with his body language. The way he took it, he was ready to about face and go back to the dugout on both of those pitches. And all of a sudden, they're both called balls. I mean, literally, the replay of StatCast showed that it was in the zone. Goldschmidt got away with one there. Fouls off 2 more pitches. It's still a full count. You're still 1 strike away from ending the inning. And then on the 3-2 pitch, again, the 9th pitch of the at-bat, back-to-back batters working 9-pitch at-bat. And he swings, and you think, all right, cool, ground ball, inning over. Nope. Catcher's interference. 2nd catcher's interference so far this season already on Omar Narvaez. So now you're thinking, oh my goodness. He looked like he struck him out 3 times already in that at-bat. And then he gets on with the catcher's interference to load the bases for Tyler O'Neill, who hit 6 home runs last year against the Brewers. That's the most of any single opponent last year against Milwaukee. But lo and behold, he flies out to right field to end the inning. Brendan Woodruff had some words headed back to the dugout for the home plate umpire, but he gets out of the jam, leaving the bases loaded, and little did the Cardinals know that would be their only real chance of the day, because then in the bottom of the 3rd, the Brewers offense responded. Christian Yelich again hits the ball hard, and again is a foot away from hitting his first homer of the year. A screamer to straightaway center field, 109 miles an hour off the bat, a double off the very top of the wall at American Family Field to have the first batter, I should say the first base runner of the inning. That was with 1 out. Then a great play by Bader to rob McCutchen of extra bases. I don't know if it would have been a home run. He kind of was jumping away from the wall and then crashed into it. Would have been close, would have been extra bases though, so he robs him for the 2nd out. Then Rowdy Tellez works a walk, so runners on 1st and 2nd, 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd, and Hunter Renfroe comes through with an RBI single, and he's followed by an RBI double by Omar Narvaez up the left center gap. Get this, in that 3rd inning against Adam Wainwright, the Brewers had 4 consecutive balls in play over 100 miles an hour off the bat. And then Omar's final hit was 96 miles an hour off the bat. So they were seeing the ball well from Adam Wainwright today in this one. As they got things going, they took a 4-0 lead through 3 innings. They added 1 more in the 6th inning on an RBI single by Colton Wong. That came with 2 strikes. It scored Jace Peterson. By the way, Jace had a great day at the plate. 1 for 2, an infield single, a hustle single, 2 walks, a run scored, a stolen base, and a sharp line out to second base. Good day for Jace down at the bottom of the order. The only run for the Cardinals came on the solo homer by Tommy Edman in the top of the 8th inning. That was off Jandel Gustave. And that's our final. 5-1 yesterday. Let's dive into the offense in just a moment. Before we do that, tell you about our friends at Built Bar. Built Bar has all these amazing flavors you can try out for their awesome protein bars. They make it taste delicious first and then make it healthy. And they make it work every single time. I do not know how they do this. It's 130 calories, covered in 100% real chocolate, 4 grams of sugar, and 17 grams of protein. I mean, you compare that to an actual sweet treat like a candy bar. It's 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of carbs. I mean, the flavors speak for themselves. Mint brownie, coconut almond, white chocolate cookies, and cream. They've got so many flavors up at Built.com, BUILT.com. We've got a promo code for you. That's LOCKED15, LOCKED15, to get 15% off your order at Built.com. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the offensive performance from yesterday's home opener. First and foremost, as I teased it a little bit ago, Christian Yelich, he goes 1 for 4, hits another ball extremely hard to straightaway center field. Also, let's be honest, both of the ones he hit the other night in Baltimore and the one he hit last night in Milwaukee, in a month, those balls are gone. So if you're continuing this, these doubles will turn into home runs when the weather gets warmer or when the roof is open, things like that. I am very, very excited and encouraged by what Christian Yelich is doing with the bat right now. I'm not saying, and no one is asking him to be the MVP once again, but the fact that he's tapping back into his power, he looks healthy, he's running healthy. It was an observation made today as well by Brewers principal owner Mark Atanasio while he was on the broadcast with Valley Sports Wisconsin, saying that he looks like he's in the best shape he's been in a while. And I know we hear that eyewash a lot of saying like, oh, best shape of my life, yada, yada. No, it feels a little different this year with Yelich. And the way that he told Mark and told David Stearns and told everybody the way he approached his offseason was the fact that he wanted to wait until he was 100%. He won't admit it, but the fact that his back wasn't 100% last season before he even started swinging. He didn't want to develop any bad habits. He wanted to get stronger, wanted to get fit, wanted to get healthy. Not that he wasn't already, but just strengthen the muscles around the issues that were his back last season and then start swinging. And I think we're starting to see that pay off for him right now. But the other theme of the day was hard contact. The Brewers averaged over 92 miles an hour off the bat against Adam Wainwright, a guy who is known for mixing speeds and limiting hard contact. I mean, he was in the top 10 percentile of limiting hard contact last season with the Cardinals. So the fact that you averaged over 92 miles an hour and then you had 4 of the 5 hardest hit balls of the day were by the Brewers, that's something to hang your hat on and be proud about, given the way that they really attacked this day and had a game plan against Adam Wainwright. They were not worried with 2 strikes. Yes, they struck out a lot today. Some of that had to do with the strike zone, to be fair. 11 strikeouts today for the Brewers offense, 7 of them by Adam Wainwright. But part of that, too, they only whiffed 5 times against Wainwright. So there's something's got to give. You don't get 7 strikeouts and only 5 whiffs all that often. It's a lot of uncomfy at-bats, and that's what Adam Wainwright wants to do. He wants to catch you guessing, and he did a good job at that. But then when he was making mistakes, the Brewers were punishing him. The next point I want to make that was encouraging about this offense, 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Look, coming off of that road trip, they were 7 for 41 on the opening road trip with runners in scoring position. That's a 171 average. And they follow it up today back at home, a 4 for 10 performance with runners in scoring position. 2 of those hits coming with 2 outs, mind you. So you're not going to be perfect any given night with runners in scoring position, but 400 is pretty darn good, no matter what you're talking about. If it's 400 against righties, if it's 400 on Thursdays, I don't care. Hitting 400 is doing above and beyond for what you want to do situationally. And the Brewers got contributions from almost everybody today, and it was the first game this year that we didn't see a pinch hitter. No pinch hitters today. The entire starting lineup played the entire game. Willy Adames and Lorenzo Cain were left out on the fun, but everybody else got on base at least once in yesterday's home opener. It seemed like everybody hit the ball hard. Everybody contributed in some way, shape, or form, right? So Colton Wong scored a run and drove in a run. Christian Yelich scored a run. Andrew McCutchen drove in a run. Rowdy Tellez scored a run. Hunter Renfroe drove in a run. Omar Narvaez drove in 2 runs and scored a run. And then Jace Peterson scored a run. So the 7 guys that all provided yesterday either drove in a run or scored a run. The only guys that missed out were Cain and Adames. The fact that you had that top-to-bottom production, this is what we're looking forward to if this offense performs like a lot of folks expect it to perform. I'm not saying they're going to score 15 runs a game. That's not what they're expecting either. But this is a deep lineup. And remember, Luis Urias is on his way back too. So this is a very deep lineup, and you've got guys available off the bench like Tyrone Taylor and Keston Hiura and versatility with Brasso. This could be a really fun offense to watch as things get warmer and the roof opens up. See if they start hitting for a little bit more power. Only 4 home runs so far this season, 7 games in, which I don't know if that has to do with the weather, of course, down in Chicago, or if it has to do with the fact that still getting your at-bats and getting your bearings so far here early in the season. But a lot to glean on, a lot to be encouraged about in this opening home opener, I should say, against the Cardinals. Final line in this one: 5 runs on 9 hits, 2 errors, 7 runners left on base for the Brew Crew. Cardinals had 1 run on 5 hits, no errors. They had 5 runners left on base. Pitching-wise, let's talk about the pitchers. Brandon Woodruff. Man, it's good to see him back. Maybe a few too many pitches. 89 pitches. 65 of them, though, were strikes. So he was attacking the zone against a team that he knew was not going to chase against him. He got 12 whiffs, a stark contrast from his start against the Chicago Cubs. So he actually was getting swings and misses. Yes, there were still too many foul balls against him, but he was actually getting swings and misses. The changeup was the big swing and miss pitch for him. He had 5 whiffs on 10 swings on the changeup. And on the note of attacking hitters, get this from Brandon Woodruff. 77% of the fastballs he threw were for strikes. 36 out of 47. So that's 77%. That's combining the sinker and the four-seam fastball. The catch with that is he didn't throw many breaking balls in yesterday's game. And maybe that's what leads to the fact that he didn't get as many strikeouts in yesterday's game. Also, you tip your cap to the Cardinals for fighting off all of these tough two-strike pitches. But Woodruff, he was sharp enough. He got the job done. 5 shutout innings, only allowed 3 hits. All 3 of those hits singles, mind you. He allowed 1 walk and had those pair of strikeouts. He gets his first win of the season. Let's talk about Trevor Gott, though, by the way. He was on in yesterday's game. And how big was it, the fact that he gave you 2 innings and Jandel Gustave was able to close out the final 2 innings? A few things happened in this game that really played in the Brewers' favor, which is exactly how they would have scripted it. We talked about it in yesterday's episode. The fact that Corbin Burnes gave you 7 innings in the finale on Wednesday in Baltimore, but you had to use Williams, Boxberger, and Hader for a 3rd straight game. So you knew those guys were going to be down yesterday. And you were hoping maybe Woodruff would get 6 or 7 innings under his belt. He ended up getting 5, but he exited without allowing a run. So when you turn to Trevor Gott, a newcomer on this team, embracing this cutter slider, I mean, StatCast is registering it as a slider. It has got the velo of a cutter, 92, 93 miles an hour. Man, that is a nasty, nasty pitch. He throws 2 shutout innings, just allows 1 hit, had a pair of strikeouts, and no walks. He was attacking the zone as well. 23 pitches, 16 of them were strikes. Man, the cutter looked really, really good. If this is the beginning of Trevor Gott at the season, you may have another great tool to get righties out between him and Jake Cousins to be situational righties. Brad Boxberger could still have the 7th inning. I'm really, really curious to see the development of Trevor Gott, because if he calls it a cutter, if he calls it a slider, coupling that with a 96-mile-an-hour sinker and tunneling them, that will really shatter a ton of bats this season. He'll shatter lefties coming in on them, and he'll shatter righties coming in on them with the sinker. Trevor Gott could be an unsung hero in this bullpen come season's end. We are looming at that May 2nd deadline to make it a 13-man pitching staff. And assuming you have 5 starters, and then the no-doubters of Ashby, Suter, Hader, Williams, Boxberger, Cousins, that only leaves you 2 spots in that bullpen. So you would figure Gott's going to have one of those. Then it will come down to Gustave or Urania or Hobie Milner. I'd imagine they'd stick with Gott, and I imagine they'd stick with Hobie Milner as giving another lefty look. You don't only want to have one lefty in your bullpen, and that would be Brent Suter, a guy who can go multiple innings. But that's a conversation for another time. Yeah, I know Gustave, man, everything moves for him too. Even the fastball, the sinker, the changeup, the slider. He was throwing them all. He was mixing it up. He allowed the only run of the game, the solo homer by Tommy Edman. But then he retired the next 6 batters in a row at the top of the order. You know, maybe a lesser mental fortitude pitcher would see, oh man, I just gave up a home run to the first batter I've faced, to the 9-hitter against one of the best offenses in the National League. And now I got to face the top of the order, protecting a 4-run lead now. Don't blow this, don't blow this, don't blow this. Well, he didn't blow it. He pitched great. Next 6 batters all retired. And here's a big note from this. 1 through 4 in the Cardinals order, a really, really good stretch. Carlson, Goldschmidt, O'Neill, and Arenado. They went a combined 1 for 15 in yesterday's game. That is how you beat the Cardinals. Now, it doesn't have to be 1 for 15 either. Keeping those guys in check, because Albert Pujols is still Albert Pujols. First of all, I'm surprised he got the start against the righty Woodruff yesterday, but Albert Pujols can still get you a situational hit with runners on base. And if you give him an opportunity to just flick one the other way and get a base knock, he's got such great barrel awareness. Even Yadier Molina hit a couple of breaking balls today that I didn't expect him to be able to touch. Look, I know they're older. and I know it's the Cardinals, and I know Brewers fans are sick of hearing the Cardinal wave. There is a secret sauce. There is something going on with the Cardinals hitting, and the fact that they can do the little things well. And that's why you never want to have these top 4 table setters of Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Arenado. Even Carlson's a great player too. The fact that you held them to just 1 for 15 yesterday was maybe the biggest reason you won this game. Not so much the offense. The offense did a great job. But the fact that you held those guys 1 through 4, 1 for 15, I believe is the reason the Brewers won that game. Let's go ahead and look ahead to tomorrow's contest. Before we do that, remind you to go ahead and take a peek at betonline.net if you want to take a look at all your sports wagering information that you may need. You've got stats, they've got info, they've got lines, odds, props, everything. Basketball playoffs, of course. The play-ins are tonight. You'll also have everything as far as futures goes for the rest of the baseball season. NHL playoffs are on the way. They've got esports on there, live betting. Everything is on betonline.net. You can use your phone to get there as well, or you can do it on your desktop. You can learn about all the trends and where the money is going at BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, 7:10 first pitch today, as the Brewers will send Freddie Peralta to the mound, making his second start of the season, going up against Miles Mikolas, who, mind you, was supposed to pitch yesterday. But Mikolas, thanks to the rainout, they decided to push him back a day and let Wainwright pitch on normal rest. And mind you, that was the 50th start of Adam Wainwright's career against the Brewers. Mikolas, in his first outing of the season, he went 3 2/3, allowed 6 hits, only 2 runs, though, against the Pirates. He had a no decision in that one, 2 walks and just 1 strikeout for Mikolas. And up against Freddie, who we know he allowed a few runs against the Cubs, but he did get 6 strikeouts. He started to feel out the changeup a lot better. We talked about the fact that he had 3 strikeouts last week against the Cardinals. And we didn't see really any of the lefties today. We didn't see Newt Barr. We saw Pujols get the start of the DH spot. I wonder if they're going to go a little more lefty-heavy against Freddie tomorrow, as Ollie Marmol, the new manager of the Cardinals, will have to fill out this lineup card and figure out what he wants to do to counter Freddie Peralta. But the other thing with this, with a 4-game series, is you're going to see just about everybody here early in the season, which is good for both teams in the fact that you're seeing a divisional rival enough to start getting some tape on these guys. They hadn't had any tape on Trevor Gott. They had to understand what he's got. Steven Matz will be pitching on Saturday's game. Steven Matz, of course, over from the Mets. Adrian Hauser, who the Cardinals have plenty of tape on him, he will get the start on Saturday. And then on the finale, Easter Sunday afternoon, a 1 o'clock start, Dakota Hudson will be getting the ball for the Cardinals. And it's currently listed as Aaron Ashby to get the start for the Brewers, giving Lauer an extra day before the Pirates come to town on Monday. So it would be one lefty against the Cardinals on Easter Sunday. That remains to be seen if that holds in that current pattern right now. But looking ahead to tomorrow for Freddie Peralta, for Freddie, you don't have to think too hard as far as what's going to make him successful. It's getting the swings and misses. However, he's a guy that relies on pitches, on guys to chase outside of the zone. Now, he has the stuff to get guys to swing and miss in the zone, but you may need to see a little more aggressive than usual Freddie Peralta tomorrow, or today, I should say, as far as his game plan to try to get the Cardinals out. He saw the Cardinals 4 times last season. He pitched 6 innings on September 20th, but otherwise, he didn't pitch for very long in his other starts. They handled him pretty well last season. He allowed a total of 13 runs in just 15 innings of work last season. So the big thing with Freddie is keeping the ball in the yard against them as well. Allowed 3 homers against the Cardinals last season. Oh, I beg your pardon. 2 homers against the Cardinals last season, but also the walks caught up to him. Reminder that he had one of those starts, the start in August, in which he only went 2 innings because he was pulled with shoulder irritation after a poor swing from earlier in the game. So, hey, thinking his pitchers don't got to hit anymore. But Freddie gets the start tonight. Again, a 7:10 first pitch, back to normal here tonight against the Cardinals. As we record this, a reminder that, look, you're 4-3 now for the Brewers, and there's a lot of season to go, but just taking a peek, look, you're 4-3, you're virtually tied with St. Louis and Chicago for the top of this leaderboard here in the Central. Chicago is playing currently as we speak right now. Chicago is, or rather, they have an off day today, I beg your pardon, No, they're playing right now. They're up 3-1 at the time of recording. So they're in Colorado right now. Chris Bryant facing his former team, but it's just keeping an eye out. And heck, Pittsburgh is 3-3 right now. A lot's going to change between now and then, but it's encouraging to see back above 500. Everybody can take a deep breath. Everyone can relax. They mentioned it on the broadcast yesterday too. RELAX, the Aaron Rodgers way. Relax. 7 games into this, it's a long, long marathon. It's not just a marathon in baseball. It's an Ironman, okay? This is an actual Ironman race, okay, between a 162-game regular season and now an expanded playoffs. It's a long, long year. Buckle up. We're going to have a lot of fun here on Locked On Brewers. Thank you so much for listening. We are back on Monday. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Locked On Brewers. Mondays are always Mailbag Mondays. So if you have a question, if you have a thought, go ahead and tweet us at Locked On Brewers, at myself, Dom_Catronio, or at Vinny Rattino. All of those handles are in the show notes as well. Tweet us a question. We will address it on Monday. We will get to that for you as well. For my normal co-host, Vinny Rattino, and for all of you who are listening, thank you so much for a fun week. Opening day at home is finally behind us. Brewers get the win by a final of 5-1. My name is Dominic Catronio. Thanks again for tuning in. We will see you on Monday. Until then, keep on swinging.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.